Lee Greenwood, but it's a talk show after all, and he's on the other end of our AT&T line right this second with Michael Patrick Shiels on radio stations across the state of Michigan. Happy Independence Day weekend, Mr. Greenwood.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you.
I say welcome back to Michigan, because I know you spent some time here. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, you did a concert at the Country Club of Lansing on what ended up being a somewhat rainy night, so welcome back virtually.
Thank you very much. Great to be back in the state with you.
Well, I know that this song sort of came to prominence, if I'm not mistaken, during the presidential run of George Herbert Walker Bush. Did you mind necessarily that song being used in a sort of a campaign kind of a way?
Well, you know, when I wrote it in 1983, I was very specific about it not being used politically. I'm a conservative Christian, but I don't talk, you know, I don't use that as a weapon. I'm just proud that I was able to meet the president. I worked with his campaign, but I worked with the Reagan campaign first, and they also, you know, wanted to use "God Bless USA," and they used it in a very positive way because Reagan was from California and I'm from California, and so I was like, hey, you know, this is cool.
You're living in Nashville now, as I understand it?
Right. Lived there for 35 years now.
Yeah, when you became a musician, was your main goal to have a beauty queen as a wife? Because former Miss Tennessee, that's not bad, and that's why I think every young boy picks up a guitar, doesn't he?
Well, you know, that was something we had in common with all the musicians that I work with. You know, it's like from the stage you kind of get a lot of attention, and that was cool. But when I met my wife Kim, it was love at first sight, and or love at first bite. And I tell you, she is still gorgeous. We've been married 23 years now.
What's the secret?
I think we work at keeping each other happy. We work at having time together. Our two boys are 20 and 17 now, and you know, we spend a lot of our time with them, but we always carve out time for each other.
Okay, I'm going to write that down. By the way, this book is beautiful, Proud to be an American. It's illustrated by Amanda Sekulow, and this is a great gift for kids, especially young kids, and it illustrates basically the song.
Yeah, when we were first reading to our kids, and we started that when they were like a year old, before they went to grammar school, we'd read them every single night, and you'd put them on your lap in the rock. We still have the rocking chair, by the way, Michael. And so you put them on your lap, and you kind of feel that bonding, you know, get close to them. And it's nurturing and all that, but you're giving them an education before they get into school. And so you hold a book in front of them, and they're fascinated, you know, by the pictures, imagination. They listen to your tones. They kind of pick up language after a while, a sentence here or there, a word here or there. You give them lessons about animals and insects and numbers and colors. But I never taught our kids about patriotism, you know, from a book. And I was like, why don't we have that? And so I said, well, we have the obvious choice. Let's just use my song, put the lyrics in it. And there's a new color process. If you have the book, Michael, in front of you, you can probably see that very vivid color.
Sure is.
And so it's a new process they've used. And we worked really hard getting the illustration to be just right. It's about grandparents, not parents, in this particular book, because I was raised by my grandparents. And a young boy, and they're teaching them throughout the book, you know, about America and what it means to be a patriot.
Do you remember why you put Detroit in the song?
Yes, I do. When we were talking about the cities, and that was the one thing I hadn't completed when I'd written the song, and I talked to my producer, Jerry Crutchfield, and I said, I want to do this right, because I remember the days of American Bandstand when the Dick Clark show in Philadelphia, and every song that was popular to the kids was like it talked about geography and different cities in the country. I said, but I don't need to necessarily get a compass out, but let's figure out what's important here. I'm from Los Angeles originally. I wanted to mention that city, and New York because of the population centers. In that time in history, Detroit was still very popular, very important to the United States because of Motown. And then Houston was important because of the oil, and that's where it came into the United States. So I had to mention those four places. Of course, I mentioned Tennessee because I lived there. The lakes of Minnesota, there's so many lakes there. And it just kind of all poetically fit.
Thank you for including us. We appreciate that, and we always love that part. Our heart jumps a little bit when we hear it, and we'll get proud to be an American. Lee Greenwood. Hey, travel safely, and I'll send Tony Cuthbert's coming to Nashville. I'll send him down to see you.
I'll do that, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you. Lee Greenwood, who is obviously very popular and very revered, and on Independence Day weekend, the book Proud to be an American illustrates the song, and to sit down with your children or your grandchildren or your nieces and nephews and have a look through these beautiful lyrics illustrated in the song would be a pretty good thing to do this weekend or any weekend.
And I'm proud to be